Wait for this man to stop waffling so I can do an intro.
Good. Here's where you can configure now install a chipset into an empty slot.
This is like a mobile game where it forces you to do a fucking intro. Does he ever stop talking?
Specific details, components, materials, munitions. If it's still working, it can be used.
Just booted the game. Right guys, thank you for joining me today. Today we are checking out Vanguard, the final playtest before release. So we've been there since the start. We've done 2, maybe even 3 playtests of this game already, and we have very mixed feelings about it up to now. But this is the finale. This is the most complete you're going to see the game before release. And as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much there. It does look very nice. So I'm not going to give you no garbage or waffle. We're just going to jump straight in. We're going to have a blast today for around 2 to 3 hours and just see what Vanguard has to offer and see if you guys would be willing to play it. Hit me up in the comments what you're thinking as we're going through. I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and opinions as we go through. I think it's looking very good on the base, and it obviously has a lot of those EVE mechanics, and as long as they don't over convolute the systems, we should be good for a way to bring casuals into the EVE universe. That being said, thank you for joining me. Hit the like if you enjoyed the video, and of course leave me a comment. I reply to all comments that are worthy, and if there is something that you know about EVE that I don't, I would love you to drop the info down below for others to see. That being said, let's go. So we've got select system, we're going to hit that, we're going to hit select, and away we go. So that's like your main hub. There's been a bunch of these in games. I think the one that's jumping into my mind, the main Marvel Heroes game that released, but there's been a bunch of them in a bunch of games. There's nothing new there, but it is a good system and it does work. So we are going to be judging this game not on a critical score, we're just going to be judging it on first impressions and how we feel about it as we go through. Of course, on release, we will be there. We will be buying like a month subscription, season pass, all of that good stuff that they might offer, and we're going to be doing a full month of this game.
Let's get to work, Vanguard.
Up, down, left and right. So my mouse is just not working at all. Why is my mouse not working at all? But the buttons are. I just can't move. Let's try disconnecting and connecting. Why can I not move my mouse? But I can in the sub menus. I can go up and down. I can move around. Press G to open the commands. Is it forcing me to do what it wants me to do? Oh, that's some mobile game shit. What are you doing? Not only did you have that massive tutorial at the beginning, you're now forcing me to do what you want me to do to learn something before I can even move my mouse. Okay, so dropping in after a very weird decision to hold the mouse from the player, which just feels dirt. We now have the visuals looking really flushed out and nice. There you go. We've got someone else drop here. So I guess he's with us or against us. No, he's with us. Okay, cool. We're teaming up with this guy. I mean, this game always did look good visually, but it has had a massive bump. Like, this is proper now. Very impressive so far. The gun's looking good too. They've refined it. They've definitely changed it up. I'm still not sure about the aim down sight. It does look a little bit squared and a little bit kind of weird. It's more like a turret than it is a gun, if you know what I mean. But at least it's different, right? So we don't have double jump, which I always wanted, and we don't have boost jump yet. Something that I was hoping they were going to implement. Do we have lean round corner? Okay, we have no lean. I think these are a bunch of human players shooting each other because we don't really know what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, we've got shank. It feels very stiff again straight away. I'm just not getting the shooter mechanic. It's very what's in front of you and you have to get out of cover to shoot at something. By that mechanic, you're getting hit. You know, you're always going to get hit. You're always going to take damage. It's just a really bad move on the devs part there. You've got to be able to lean around corners. Oh, okay. And you've got to have some sort of natural fluidness to the game. It just feels stiff again. I play a lot of looter shooters now. I play a lot of first-person shooters on the side. And I can tell you that nearly every one of those looter shooters feels better than this just straight away. And I don't want to shit on the game. I was hoping it to be good out of the gate. But it's just feeling really stiff. Like, I do feel like a mech. I do feel like a robot because I don't have fluid movement. I don't know what's happening here. This guy's just standing still. This is my secondary. Try and cut him out. Not really sure what he's doing. We free him.
Brilliant.
There was also a crafting system to this game, so you have this nice map as well, which I always liked. That actually looks like it's been improved on. The problem with this game for me is it's such a nice looking game. It's such a really cool environment to be in. From what I can tell, it's going to be free to play. They would be mad not to make this free to play because it's the only way this game's going to survive in such an oversaturated niche. Like, what stops you playing like No Man's Sky or... 5 of the other No Man's Sky knockoffs, right? Right, let's have a look. So we need to get to this thing. Can we just ping it on the map? We can.
You can shoot each other.
We now have somewhere to work towards. This just feels slow. It's a massive playing field, but again, it takes too long to get from one side to the other. That double jump boost from here would feel so much nicer than just stomping the whole way down. This is kind of boring now. It's kind of open. There's nothing really going on. And you get a lot of this in this game. You can tell, like, the way I play looter shooters is kind of like an ADHD kid on crack. I'm definitely on target and I try to hit heads every time. And I'm very quick. And this game definitely is a slow-paced shooter. I'm going to get into this tube here. Sound effects are wicked. That actually sounded like they were shooting at me in that tube. I've always liked this. I've always liked the downship exploration style gameplay. Oh, saw someone. Okay, even though I've set my controls to aim down sight toggle on. Maybe it didn't apply, maybe it didn't stick. It doesn't work. It just keeps popping back out. It's fine, I guess. We're just spoiled now with toggle, right? Toggle when it works, it's great. What has my man got on his face there? So these little piles of bio-shiz that they leave give you craft items. They can be things to level up, all of that good stuff. You only have a certain amount of inventory slots, which I can't drag and show you, unfortunately. It's right behind my back, which is the worst place to put them. Put them over in the bottom right. Again, a bunch of stuff you got to learn in this game because the items are all new. Most of it is going to be alien to you when you first start. Okay, so my tracker is saying we are 170 away. Hello, what's happening here? Yes, here we go. Okay, so we need to be the other side of these rocks by the looks of it. See what I mean? Like here, where's the double jump? Where's the boost to get up here? It's naturally just somewhere I need to go. Bro, just give me a boost. I just don't understand why that still hasn't been done. It makes combat funner as well. It's a bloody cool environment to be in though. One of my favourite games aesthetically looking so far. Well, we've had the jungle, we've had the broken down towns and old school sort of Soviet Union looking places. But to play a first person looter shooter in space, that's new. Depends if you played No Man's Sky and games like that. There's 3 or 4 of those games now that really do stand out to a lot of people. Starfield has a lot of these elements. It does feel like a training simulator. The fact that the enemies don't fall down, there's no ragdoll. The fact they just disappear into poof. Feels like we're in some sort of VR mode. Okay, the AI is put. We went from overly punishing AI to some of the most simplistic. I mean, he didn't even know I was standing right next to him. The initial playtest, they were really bad. They would miss maybe 1 out of 5 shots. Now, I don't think I've been hit. Nice headshot. Nice headshot. So it's accurate, I'll give it that. We get these monkeys off my back. Right, here we go. Ooh. So we're going to bank the biomass. So how do we heal? So let's go with 3. No animation. Shame, innit? Why don't you stick the needle in his arm and like pull it out with some, you know, cool animation where like red juice goes into your arm. It's just literally hold the button and your bar goes up. That's, nah. And although the game's not finished, you know, there's a bunch of work to be done on the back end. These are the sort of changes at this point I would expect to be seeing. Extra animations, you know, flushed out gameplay, a bloody lean, a double jump, a boost attack, maybe on final release the game actually releases with cool shit in it. At the moment it's very stiff, very robotic and just unimaginative. It just feels kind of plain. You love the game still? Yeah, I mean visually and stuff, don't get me wrong. It's just they're not giving us what we want, especially on these playtests. I still have faith that when a game releases it will be something to shout about. But you can't guarantee that because, you know, I don't work for them. So I can't have any decision making whatsoever. But these guys, they're on the right track. They're just not doing it quick enough in my opinion. That's the only thing I will say up to this point about the playtests that I've been a part of. Is it still the knife's OP? Yeah. I forgot about the knife. Do you agree? Oh, great. Well, I'm so glad someone does. I haven't actually taken any negativity or comments that are against my opinions. I think people do agree overall, and I think the majority, although they do kind of sway towards some of my comments being a little bit nitpicky, overall, I tend to get it right. The games I say will fail, do fail, and I haven't been wrong yet. Touch wood. I've been lucky. The gunplay does feel nice. Like they've got the sound effects perfect and the game is running quite nice. I think I've set it to 120 and I can definitely feel a good amount of frames while I'm playing. So they've got the game running pretty nice. I like the fact you know when there's an incoming combat by the fact it's a rocket drop, you know, like a transport pod. So you kind of get this big sound effect before you know people are going to start popping shots at you. Whoa, what was that? Use hand. Whoa.
Surprise, motherfucker.
No way.
To complete your assignment.
You can't DC during the game? What in the world? Did I lose everything then? That really sucks. That took me right out of the environment and right out of the immersion. Everything else seems pretty sweet and easy to follow now. This is lovely. This user interface. Whoever done the UI for this game has done a really good job. This is all nice to look at. It makes sense. It's simple to follow. Deployment's easy. You know, you just pick a place, jump to it, and away you go. You can play in solo or multiplayer just by changing the bottom tab. I mean, all of that works. So again, promise is on the horizon. I feel like they're on the right track. Okay, this is something we didn't get before. Animation of our drop. Here we go.
Vanguard projectiles.
Yes. Okay, that was cool as shit. There's the pods coming down, as you can see. So that's the first DC we've experienced and kind of took me out of the excitement. I was just starting to sink my teeth into it. I think that's another human now. We don't need to worry about him. Look at his bullets. So they look the same as mine. Again, that kind of looks unfinished. Is mine the stank? The bog of eternal stench. And again, that looks unfinished. Look how bad those bubbles look. Just a playtest, so I don't criticise anything like that. But what I will say is the movement system, I just really feel I hit my point home hard enough for them to have improved it. And they just haven't. They've not bothered at all. Maybe they'll surprise me on release. Maybe we'll get what we want from it. It's still a game we're going to play. It's still a game we're interested in. But for how long? There is a lot of competition, a lot of free-to-play shooters coming out every month. And I would say almost every week now. Spoilt for choice almost in that genre. He bounced off the wall.
That was cool.
Again, this is why we need ragdoll in the game, you know, funny moments, strange little ragdoll moments. Okay, we're only 240 away, that's just around the corner. I do actually want to get a few more fights in here. Can we loot these? We used to be able to loot them. Do we cut them? No, I've not used my cutting tool for anything yet. I'm not sure TSR is doing this game justice. I'm feeling like DLSS might actually be better in this game. You see the really crusty fog in that? Again, if we didn't have it at all, I would be rendering the frames myself and the game would look really, really nice. So we've got no choice but to AMD FSR or DLSS. Let's try DLSS first. That fog does now look better. I would say DLSS is better than FSR in this particular game running a 4070. It looks a lot more cleaner and a lot more sharper in certain aspects. I am getting some graphical glitches though here and there now. Trying to get this to snap. So the hold really just doesn't work. Maybe it's off is on, if that makes sense. So that definitely doesn't work. Now I'll turn it on. Doesn't work. And I have no idea why. It's something that I guess they got to look at. The gun is trash compared to the knife. That was a double with a little shank. You might as well turn that thing into a samurai sword and let us run around like lunatics. Gun looks really nice. Now they've fully modelled it out and it is pretty much the finished version, I would say. It looks really good. And again, the gun is part of you. They want you to treat the gun as part of your character, if not the character. The drones you're using are not really the important thing. It's the gun, the modifications you add to it, the way that the gun will handle once you do those modifications. Is what they really want you to get the emphasis and feel from. Without a lean round corners, it does feel like all of that might be pointless because you're just going to fit a rocket launcher to it or whatever you can, you know, grenade launcher and just go ham. So we're there. I just can't see it. Here it is. So the bank is obviously not fully modelled yet, but it does kind of look reminiscent of the previous playtest. I don't think they've changed that. Let's hit the map. Let's go to the next point of interest. And away we go. I don't really understand why we got DC'd anyway. Solo mode should be solo mode. And then you can go on the Steam Deck and people can grind it in solo mode and then just upload their save and update their data until they want to go multiplayer. What point of interest is this? What am I missing? Am I supposed to gather some resources or nothing here? The point of uninterest. So he's got some heavy armour on him. There's no vault either. You just saw there I jumped on the barrier as a natural reaction. Because these barriers in any other game, when you will duck behind them, they'll be shooting at you. You'll pop up, you'll shoot back. And then you might want to then jump over. You can't. You want to jump and vault that, and of course there's no double jump, no boost. I'm not going to say that ever again in this live stream, but if they just had that, you could just naturally jump over it or boost over it, and it would feel so much more fluid and nice. It just feels stiff. This game feels nothing but stiff. It always has, and I think maybe possibly it always will. I play around, I would say in a month, 4 new shooters on average, so I know what shooters feel good, and I know what brings me back into a shooter. And fundamentally, although your game has loot gathering and banking mechanics, quests, it's still on the baseline a first-person shooter, and it doesn't feel like a good first-person shooter. It feels like a meh first-person shooter. It's okay, it does the job, but again, this rock, I'm taking shots to the rock, I'm going to duck behind it. Now I want to lean around the corner, I want to have a little peek move, a little side blast, headshot, get back in. None of that exists in this game. You have to just move, then aim, right? Look how close I am to the rock when I aim. So I have to actually physically be standing in harm's way to get the headshot or to get the accuracy I want. It just feels off. It don't feel good, and they definitely need to fix it. Like, do we call for an extraction? Is there a way to get out of here? Okay, I haven't worked out how to extract. And I do believe it wasn't a disconnect. I think when you die, this happens. It feels so disconnected from the game. Why, when my clone dies, do I just get shut down like that? We should fall to the floor and then have another clone spawn in the clone bank that then goes and picks up that loot that you then died and lost. And maybe start you from the furthest clone bank, so you have to make it to that clone. That feels really awful that they just kill you off and cut the screen like that. It almost feels like I've got dodgy internet. I just think you should spawn in the war clone bank and then go pick up your loot from the downed clone. I think that would be way better. It's kind of like a Dark Souls mechanic where when you die you lose your loot but it stays there until you die again. You could then possibly extract with that secondary clone. At the minute, kicking me out of the game and making me load in like this and have all this wait time just feels really broken and shit. Dude, that's nice. It kind of feels like Titanfall, but then that's about as far as that goes.
Bring up your tactical map.
Eve is hard as part of the experience. Yeah, but this game isn't hard. This game is easy as shit. It's one of the easiest shooters I've ever played. The bots are pretty much brain dead. I don't understand where the difficulty level is that you're mentioning. EVE Online is absolutely atrociously difficult because it's mainly community driven. So there's a lot of economics going on with it, and there's a lot of things to learn and take part in that you need time and effort and resources to do. So I've never jumped into it. So that's what I meant by not jumping into EVE. It's not because I don't like space shooters. I play a lot of space shooters. I just don't like EVE for that reason. Now, this particular game, I really wanted from a first-person shooter stance to love. Just isn't clicking with me, which is a problem because I want the developers to do well. I've been there from the start. I just can't seem to grasp what they're getting at here. I'm trying to abandon the tutorial. There you go. I've gone. Tutorial's gone.
Maybe I'll have fun now.
Let me buy this. What's this? There you go. I bought that. I bought 2 of them. Let's go to deploy. Right. Let me go security level 4, 09. Is that -7? Why have you got to put -0.7? They're the type of people that like understand binary. Yeah, 1 + 1 0 1 1 0 1 1 1 1 0 is the difficulty of this game. Do you know what I mean? 5 stars. 0.1.0. What does that mean? Is that so -1, but then this is -0.5, which is half of 1.
More difficult, less difficult?
What are you doing? This one's red, so I'm assuming that's harder. But in numbers, it doesn't. So I'm going to go for the weakest piss one, which is 0.7. Playing a squad. I'm definitely going to do that because I will learn more from a squad than I will learn in that entire tutorial. This is what you're about to experience as a new player jumping into the main game of Vanguard right now. I would say that's double the time than playing solo. Like, this is cool. If it didn't look so muddy and blurry, it's really cool. And it's got this horrible text there. I don't like that. and then it goes cool again. Big ground pound and we're there. So we've got a new map with more icons. Yeah, we do now have banking stations as opposed to clone banks. Again, I referred to earlier, the banking stations were what I was used to from the original playtest. Escape pods. Now we're talking, and then we've got an active operation over there. Hell yeah. My first impression is that the tutorial just needs to go. This is so much more simpler without the tutorial. Just drop people here and let them crack on. You don't have to listen to them dry old voiceovers. Okay, here we go. Cutting tool. Let's cut some shit. They actually look like sugar cubes. Oh, hang on. There we go. Like everything in this game, takes a long time. I do like the way they wobble and then disappear. I think the actual animation, if it's got like crumbs coming off of them, that could be cool. Like little brick dust and that, a little bit more smoke. Okay, good, nice, sweet. Okay, that's going to do. And there's 3 of these to do. How valuable they are, won't know until we extract. I think I'll probably want a bank on the way, won't I? So I think I'm going to hit this bank up here in the middle of nowhere. Ooh, that's too tempting. Right, nice. Let's roll. Ooh, now we've got the pods. It's still got the dead dude in it. Yes. Oh, it don't look as good. What happened to the dead dude? He used to be all grim and horrible looking. They made him all like PG-13. Oh, you popping shots? You want to go some? Okay, they're still easy. Okay, now we hold E to install the decoder. Like the old glitch chip for the Xbox 360. Decrypt the code. In your own time. This takes way too long. Hopefully the gains are worth it. Now this should all, yeah, I was going to say, it should automatically disappear there. Identification recovered, crew manifesto done. It allows me to do it again. Why would you want to do it twice? Just don't get another load of loot out of it.
Surely not.
I definitely can't interact with it twice. I feel like that was a good area to start, you know. We're getting some good money there. Someone's popping shots. Oh, what is that, a turret? Yeah, bros. I feel like the difficulty level has definitely arisen here. There you go, hold to bank. Dead drop location confirmed. Item sent to the hangar. Let's take a look where we're going now. This direction. You can still hear that turret really popping off over there.
Hostile on feed.
Ooh, buddies. Yeah, they definitely have better accuracy. I don't think they're more tougher. They're definitely not smarter. Holy moly. That was nice too. Nice little animation they've added to that. I feel like these are going to be quite valuable because they take so long to get. You're at a high risk when you mess with those. Yeah, they definitely have more armor in the chest. You've got no injectors to like inject yourself and get back up. There's no second chance. Well, what can I do instead of giving up? I've got no health boosters or anything. I think that's it. I think I have to give up.
Trace acquired.
What do we think of the main game now? Obviously, we're going to lose a couple games before we win. We're going to reclone, carry that one on. The actual main game, again, it's still more of the same, but it does have at least some waypoints, some icons, some help. Yeah, it's okay. Not jumping out and saying, you know, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it is at least a little bit of dry bread, you know, something to change up from the military shooters that you're playing. I think it's pleasant to look at, right? I think what you're watching and what I'm playing and what I'm seeing translated to you guys, I think it works well as a streaming game. As long as there's enough to do and to keep the host talking and people interacting, as in like Twitch drops, I feel like that could increase the overall playability. But again, really, if social media is not talking about your game, the game's dead, right? Really, they want to have a lot more interaction and a lot more things for the content creator to do that makes it worth playing. Daily challenges, make it very simple to follow, very easy to get those rewards. Something that the viewers can share in as well, like you're doing it, they're doing it, can talk about it. Season passes normally help with things like that. Okay, 45 credits. That seems to be the best thing to do at the moment for me, is just grab credits, bank them, and then head to extraction. We've got a bunch of these little crates here. They're always cool. They've actually got a bit of texture on now, which is nice. When we first started, they didn't have those textures. I like the more I explore, the more I mine, the more I cut, the more I dig, the more XP I get in that area. So then I can cut and dig, you know, explore quicker because I've done that, right? And it doesn't matter if it's very slow progression. It just matters that it has progression. So everything you do has a different bar to level up. Yeah, that turret's going to eat me for breakfast. I want that blue thing. But I know I'm going to get chewed up by going for it. Do we go for it? Is it worth going for? What is it? We're going to find out. I'm running. I'm running. Ooh. Okay, it's just a bank. It's just a bank. I banked 21 credits there. Sneaking up behind the turret there. Can we take this thing down? Again, where's the disable? Where's the interact to disable? Oh, they can be killed. Big explosion in my face. Okay, I'm enjoying the game around a 50% increase just because we're not playing that crusty tutorial. I'm actually having a lot more fun with it now. Look at this tracer business that's going on. That's not looking very good. What is it? Not a glitch, just a bit weird. I think that texture's unfinished. I think that's going to be some sort of maybe lightning charged fog. We'll have a few of these little boxes. Right, we're not in the safest area, so I'm going to check the map and just have a little look. Active operation mining rights. Let's give that a go. I don't want to waste my time collecting things, so I'm just going to get oofed again, you know. Okay, we've got a turret here and a couple of monkey bots over the side there. I'm not sure the knife can actually destroy this, can it? Whoa, there you go. We've done this before. This is one of them mining machines. It's actually quite tough to do these. Well, it was on the initial playtest. You have to like align these things, which takes forever. You have to kind of keep them aligned whilst fighting off monkey men. It seems like you have to keep adjusting it. So this needs, I think, to be changed. When you get it aligned and you finally hit the point, I think it should lock in so you don't have to interact with it again. It's tedious, you know, it just feels a little bit like work.
It's like too much for too little.
I can't actually hit him through that gap, which is a little bit of a glitch there. That is problematic. Oh, there we go. Gone. See you later. So uneventful. After lining those up, you know, you want some sparkles and sprinkles on user interface. You know, notification of what you did. Some sort of achievement would be good there. Boom, there it is. Okay, good stuff. We've done that red marker. We could go for the uplink site. I also want to check this. Sweet. So is this a defender point? Ooh, there they go. Go some. Really? You're going to come in the back too?
There's a lot of these.
Oh, that was really unfair. So it's not the accuracy that does the damage, it's just the amount of them. And the uplink was barely a quarter done. There's no way again to revive myself right now. I haven't found an injector or something that can revive me to get me going back into the action. So at this point you have to cut your losses and die, which kind of sucks, you know, like we do need something to jab yourself with to get back up into the action, because it does feel short-lived and not as fun to constantly get down. So although they shoot like they're blind, they do enough damage when they're close to end you. But let's take a look. So we was at the uplink. We can still see that. We've also got our death location, which is what I mentioned earlier about we need a death location. So here we go. They're more than 2 stabs now. I wasn't expecting that. I wonder if they get tougher the more you play. I do like the fact that nearly every, at least the shotgunners that you take down, you do get a heal from them. But this guy's one of the bigger ones, right? So if hang on, let me get rid of him. Headshot. I'm going to get a heal from him, right? Which is biomass. And now we are at half, which is awesome, the uplink. I like the fact we can leave the area. We don't have to stay in that specific circle. So it's not essentially capture the point. It's more of a just defend the area. Look at the damage I am taking in the back from that turret. Which we took out, by the way, before we died. Okay, it's gone red, so I can only go so far. Let's see if we can get some of these. Yeah, now it's gone blue. So I can actually gather, being that there's no robots left. This is what we need more of. The fact that while I'm doing one task, I could be doing 2, 3 tasks. Finalising the data. Happy days. You get a bunch of resources from that. Okay, awesome. So all them bots I took down, I want to basically go and loot all their shiz. I like the fact that now we're at the tutorial, the 2-minute warning does not come up. I feel like we've got enough time to complete tasks. And overall, the map seems a lot bigger than it is. When you actually ping the map and look at it, you can get from one side of the map reasonably quick. So it doesn't feel as open in this mode because there's so many little bits and bobs you can do in between. Now, we did play this mode on the previous playtest and we did experience it, but it doesn't feel the same this time. Because the visuals have had a bump and it does feel a little bit more smooth, you know, the frame rate's definitely held up today. When this game's finished, it's got a lot going for it. I just feel like they need a lot more of that atmospheric environment boost. You need to have a bit more of a better drop system. Delta Force, for instance, every time you jump out of the plane, you slide down a rope and then you crack on with your mission. It doesn't get boring. The drop ships in this feel like awesome the first time you see them. Handful of times later you're feeling like kind of they're not very well designed, and there's a lot of horrible text with them as well, which is weird. So I think getting into the map needs to be better animated. Getting out of the map needs to be more simplified. But once you're in here, I mean, it's okay. It is okay. There you go, there's the uplink. I think they've slowed down the quickness that you can pull out your knife. It does feel like there's a little bit more of a delay there. Okay, let's start the uplink and I'll go and grab those resources. Again, the text needs to be bigger as well. I don't think there's an interface option for that. No accessibility options. Can't make the text bigger. Again, just holding E needs to be a lot bolder. That bot was walking backwards. Oh, done me. I enjoyed that. I actually, for the first time today, had some fun, and that was a good run. Now, I'm out of clones, so I've got to leave my deployment and go back. Non-banked assets have been lost. Man. And I got 57 kills. Whether that's good or not, you can let me know in the comments down below. Ooh, okay, so we did recover a bunch of resources. Now, we did lose our guns as well, which is something I didn't mention.
That kind of sucks.
So if you have any attachments attached to that weapon, they then drop with your weapon, and you can't like re-go into that map and get them back either, which I think is another missed trick, especially on solo mode. Why you can't go in there and actually recover like Dark Souls your stuff is constantly designed to hold the player back. I can put the blueprint into the fabricator and we do start fabrication. It takes 10 seconds to make a new weapon, and I'm hoping at no cost, as in our currency. A fabricator should use resources that we've gathered, right? So that's now complete. I'm going to claim that, and you can see here I've got quite a few of these now. There's no organize button on the inventory either. I'm going to go with chipset and I'm going to take whatever's green. Okay, here again, you know, I play a lot of shooters. You need to be able to right click the items to just pop them in. It's a little bit annoying that you have to drag them over, you know, quality of life stuff. Okay, cool. I'm going to stick with these three. And beta has its own chipsets as well, so we can actually change out a few of those just to see how they go. So you could have like one that packs a punch, but then you could also have one that is maybe a burst fire of some sort. All right, we've got expeditions here, which is new. Available expeditions improve your standing to gain access to additional expeditions. So now we're in progress and it gives us a clear-cut mission now. Search for still data caches located near loot sites. We know a rough area where to go, which is the loot sites. Now, if none of that seems simple to you, don't feel overwhelmed or anything by this game. It's really quite simple once you dig into it. It's by no means a quick game. Like Delta Force, you can jump in, you can have a World War mission, and you can be out in 20 minutes and you're done. That's all you need to play that game that day, right? You get most of your dailies, most of the stuff will unlock, and you're going to level up your character whilst you're doing it. I feel like this game is going for the person who plays for like 4 to 8 hours and has a whole day to play. Okay, I've pinged the map to my point of interest where I want to go. Then we just move on. So it's the same again. Kill bots, gather loot, try not to die, and hopefully extract with all of that stuff. So that's the main goal. And extraction, I'm still not 100% sure on how we do that. I think after a certain amount of time you can extract. Now speaking of that, if I go into my crafting, extraction beacon. Okay, I've got 2 of those made and 2 motion scanners. Scope's pretty handy though. Goddamn turret. Got it. That sucks. Okay, the game's getting dramatic, which is something I was looking forward to. The fact that things actually matter now. I've got a task to do, I've got a job to do, and I want to complete it, so I'm having to go in with these guys, and they are getting tougher and tougher. Again, I've got a deployable beacon if I want to extract, but I think you got to risk it for the biscuit. Do I even have to go past? I do have to go past him, which means that turret needs dealing with. Question is, can we get close enough to the turret to not take a beating? There it is. Without that, we should be able to at least get close enough. Yes, there we go. Now we can steal up all this biomass. We got the loot site. Now it did say the drop will be near a loot site. If I was a data catch, where would I be? The turret's back. It just respawned too quick. I'll find somewhere safe. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to check up the map now. So uplink sites. Okay, so I haven't found a data catch and I don't know what one looks like. It says go to loot sites and hopefully you find one. That's a little bit random to me, and we've got a lot of resources so far. So I feel like we could probably extract here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a extraction beacon. There you go. So now I've just got to wait inside this area for X amount of time. We shall be extracted. So it's 1 minute and there's no enemies here to worry about either. Leave deployment. I've extracted. Now obviously that in time needs way better animations. I would say a pod needs to drop, a door needs to be open, you climb in, you see him sit down with his 2 hands maybe on the controls, the door shuts, and then you F off. Whilst you're going through that animation, it needs to be invulnerability, so nothing can shoot or hurt you because you have already extracted. The way the game just sort of jumps from bit to bit feels a little bit off and it feels a little bit early, but that is to be expected in an alpha. So that was a successful drop, successful gathering of items, successful combat, and then extract. So that's essentially a win. You can now see we've got a bunch of new stuff in our backpack, which we can store all, which then go over to this side, and we've obviously got our extraction beacons that we created. We've also got our energy rounds that we created, and they all came back with us. And there's a lot of stuff to do with this game that we haven't touched upon today, but I feel like we're now out of time. We're getting towards that time, but we can sum it up from our experiences. Now I'm not going to rate the game like I said at the beginning because I don't have enough info and I don't have enough time. The playtest is available for 8 days, so there is still plenty of time for you guys to go and register and get involved. For me, I would say it's still meh. It's still on that border tip of being okay. Yeah, you drop, you grab a loot, you extract, great. It looks decent, the sound effects are nice, the shooting mechanics pretty decent. I do feel that it's lacking in a lean, it really needs a lean. But other than that, it feels quite sort of stiff but natural, right? I would say that I like the system of the guns, the way that the augments go into them to change the way the gun look and feel. I appreciate the fact that the mechanics are quite simple, easy to get into. The map sucks, it always has sucked. They will do work to that over time. The initial base game is decent, the tutorial needs going. I think it's trash. This is way more user friendly just to jump into the game. As long as you've played one shooter in your life, you're going to be able to play this one. And I think gathering items still needs a bigger radius. Text on the screen needs to be bigger. You need bigger icons and you need less time to pick things up. Everything in this game seems to be long-winded, and yet you're being shot at from all directions half the time. So you're constantly juggling this like, well, this is going to take me too long, so I'm not going to bother. The biomass that the enemies drop, if you just run over it, it could just pick up, right? right? Everyone needs it until it's maxed out to a certain amount. Then they don't pick them up no more when you run over them. Overall opening of crates and stuff has been refined. I think the crates are pretty much there, but the radius of the smaller crates needs to be bigger. The one I found the most problem with was the pods. When you cut the 4 bolts off and you interact with a pod, when you then need to put that code in, you have to sort of walk back and walk forward to enter the code. That kind of sucks. That's not a really nice feel. So I think that needs a little bit of work too. But overall, they're on the right track still. There's a lot of development still to be done in the game before release. Now this is the final look. So I wish the development team all the best. I hope they do deliver, which I'm sure they will. And I hope all of the EVE fans come and play it, because it is very much designed from the ground up for you. I don't think it's designed for the casual first-person shooter player, and if you do play first-person shooters and you do fancy something in space, then this could be for you. But I would say it's very much a dry bread experience from a first-person shooter player perspective. It's kind of boring after a little while. It gets samey. There's no real reason to come back to it. I can't see me getting in from a hard day's work, popping this on for an hour before bed. I just cannot see it. Whether they're going to zhuzh it up a bit with a little bit more sound effects here and there, pop-ups that are going to get you excited for doing something. You need that dopamine rush. You need that excitement, and this game just doesn't have it. The most fun I have in this game is being able to hit 5 people with my knife and not take any damage, stabbing robots in the face as I go. The big drills that come with the crosshairs that you have to line up, they are atrocious. They need to line up the crosshair and then maybe press E to lock it in. Once you've done it 3 times, that thing needs to fuck off and be gone. There's a lot of things in this game that aggravate the player and doesn't enhance the playability. It definitely needs a lot of work, but I think they're on the right track. They're doing a good job, and I've probably said this in my last 2 playtests. I can't wait to see the final product so we can actually rate it, actually judge it. You know, take from this video what you will, and again, if you agree, disagree, all that good stuff, leave me a comment down below and let me know. Hit the like button if you want to see more Vanguard content. That all being said, I am out. Look after yourselves. I wish the Vanguard team all the best, and I hope you guys enjoy Vanguard on release. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.